Hello, hello. Welcome to RamGoatAstrology. I am Laura Lee.
And I am Helena. Hello.
Welcome to Aries season.
I was thinking about that today. I've been thinking about it like today and yesterday and the day before, leaving Pisces season, going into Aries season. And I was thinking today, like, I don't feel very fired up yet.
No, me neither.
I think it takes some time. Like, we're going from this, Pisces is such a different energy to Aries.
Yeah.
And going from that, I feel like I'm still in Pisces mode. I haven't tied up that bag quite yet.
There's still a lot of planets there. So it's hard to tie up that bag when there's still so many planets there.
Yeah. And I feel like that it's not just overnight. Suddenly, like, you go from being like all dreamy and like 1 foot in reality and 1 foot in like dreamy land. And then the next day you're like, oh, I'm here. I'm fired. Let's go and get this project started. No, it's not like that. Like, it's a period of time in between where the ice needs to melt, like the water needs to evaporate and we go into fire. That time is right now. Like, that time
Right now.
I've been dreaming like real dreams the past 2 nights. And I'm not going to go too much into them.
Tell me a little bit. Give me a little blip.
Okay, give it a little bit. I've been dreaming about, so what was the first dream? Both dreams were about a city I used to live in. And
which, do you want to tell us the city or not?
Which is Melbourne.
Melbourne, Australia. Okay.
And the first dream, I'm pretty much just walking around the streets. Like, I remember what I was seeing walking around the street, and it didn't really look quite as reality as what it did when I was living there. But I remember in my dream what it looked like, what the streets looked like. And it was a very strange thing where a friend that I made very recently, she had a baby, and me and some friends were going to help her deliver this baby, and it was all very calm, like, oh, you're going to have a baby now, okay, let's get ready, let's put you in the car, because that's like softest spot to have the baby right now. And this baby, like, in my dream, is like, oh, so this baby was conceived in Pisces season, and now it's a new Pisces season, which doesn't make sense because you're not pregnant for that long. And when I think back, I don't know what Pisces season, she could have been pregnant for years. And anyway, so she gives birth.
Dreams are crazy.
They're crazy. And on this day in my dream, it was the last day of Pisces season. So I was like, oh, he's going to be Pisces. And he was born, very little baby. And then we sort of left him alone for a few minutes, and he grew up into a man within minutes. Started to walk around.
Why not?
Because why not? And he started to walk around and like sort of, it was like he had a mission. Like, he grew up and then he started walking around and like doing things, and we were like, what's going on? This is weird. He's like a grown man. And I sort of went to him and like, oh, do you want to meet your mom? And it was this whole weird thing, and it was this sort of like Messiah vibe about him. And Jesus was born, like, he was a Pisces, so I don't know, like, it was all just very strange, all of these things.
That sounds so weird.
Anyway, that was my first dream. And then I had another dream in this city. And the funny thing about these dreams is that, I usually remember my dreams, but this time I remember like every minute. That's not true because I've dreamt for hours, but I remember like a whole story, the whole story. I remember when I walk into there, then I speak to that person and we said these things, then she made some food with these ingredients. The most vivid dreams ever for this period of time, going from Pisces to Aries. And I don't know what other people have been experiencing. Maybe you also have been struck with this really intense Pisces energy. And the last bit of Pisces season, we had the Sun conjunct Neptune. So we really finished off with like a huge wave of Pisces.
I think that had a huge role to play in the transferring into Aries, where it usually, I feel that equinox energy, and this time I just didn't, and I think Neptune had a big role.
We don't have to speak about it so much, but just want to touch on that we're going into eclipse season also right now, or on the 25th we have the first eclipse. So the usual energy of Aries, which is like start these projects, do these things, it's not really like that now, because eclipse season is a time when you shouldn't really start too many projects. You should just observe, because the energy is very active. You don't really know where things are going to land. So this is a very sort of different type of Aries season, very activated, but not in the usual way.
I have not been able to describe how I've been feeling. I feel like I'm in a really good mood and a good space, but then yet it still feels foggy. And I feel like I'm going forward, but I'm still standing still. And I feel like I'm healing, but I'm still not. Like it's really,
Yeah.
but and it's been like this for, let's see, what are we on? The 21st now? It's been like this for a couple days, easily 4 days now, 5 days now. And I'm going,
Yeah.
okay, Laura, just surrender to what it is and just allow it. But it did not have that start off with a bang feeling for me at all. And I know the people in my house haven't felt it.
No,
So,
I felt almost like, even though going deep, like almost going deeper.
well, and we've got Venus there right now, Saturn there right now, Neptune there right now. Mars is about to trek his way into there. So, Pisces season, even though the sun is out of it, we've got that nebulousness still rocking with us. And that is,
Yeah.
it's just like this constant state of surrender.
Yeah, I
That's what I
know.
feel.
You know what's funny? Because this happens once a year, that the sun is conjunct Neptune, as it was last Sunday. And I remember last year when this happened, I was going around work saying to everyone, remember to take it easy, sleep a lot, take care of your energy, try and preserve your energy. And oh, don't like, because it's easier to get sick and catch viruses on this day, because your sun is your vitality, and Neptune, it just like makes everything like not solid. So
Right.
viruses like it can penetrate you and your energy field a lot easier. And I always get sick on this day. It happened this year again. And it's funny. It is funny.
Thinking
It's
astrology.
just what it is. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing is the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, it's all affected by astrology. And this is where I just keep finding more and more and more answers and information. It's just fascinating to me. The more I deal with different things with my kids or my own health or my husband's health, the more I keep seeing it in the chart. There it is right there. There it is right there. There it is. My husband's dealing with an ongoing like rash, and it specifically started on his lung, like heart chakra area, and then kind of spread, but it was not a rash we've ever seen in any magazines, books, anything we've looked up. It's not a typical like response to a certain food or a certain exposure to something. It was just kind of this chronic rash. And now it's been spreading like up into his neck and into his kind of his hairline a little bit. And it's just kind of like meandering its way around. But it's again, it's nothing like massive. It's just this little light rash. But at the same time, we know that something is off, right? Your body doesn't just have a rash. This is your body saying, hey, I'm not okay. So we've been doing all kinds of stuff. We do the aromatherapy and the oils, and we do supplements, and he watches his diet really, really carefully. When I think about it, I think his chart, and he has a
Mm.
Pluto conjunct Saturn natally. Pluto at
Oh.
29 Libra and Saturn at 1 or 0 or 1 degree Scorpio. So they're in two separate signs, but they're right now, real tight conjunction in the middle of his sixth house of health. So when my brain goes to interpret this, which it did just this morning, I went, okay, this makes sense. You would have to work hard, Saturn, over a long period of time, Saturn, and be mature, Saturn, about going really, really deep in Scorpio and doing massive investigative work, Scorpio, to do a major transformation, Scorpio. Sixth house, health and being of service and daily routines. Food, right? This is what this is telling me. Then when you put Pluto there, we've got power and intense death and rebirth and renewal cycles. Well, you got to change how you eat and find a new source of power or fuel, right? And then do so. This is in Libra with a buddy or a practitioner or your wife or your kid, or do it with a buddy. You need to learn Libra, intellectual, and you need to do this in a buddy system to create homeostasis or health or balance. This is how I interpret stuff, right? That was a verbal interpretation of how I do astrology. And when I look at just those couple words I just used, it makes so much sense why he would be having these seemingly mysterious health issues that he needs to really do some major changes on a daily basis, change the way he eats or whatever, to find the answer and make that shift in his health area. And again, I wasn't looking for it. It just showed up when we were dealing with this issue, and my brain went, hang on, hang on, hang on. Oh, we got a detox. Like, this is probably a major detox situation where his body has to go deep in the corners of the closet, right? Scorpio, work hard and go deep on. It's like scrubbing the corners of the grout,
Yeah.
or the tile or the bathroom, like with a toothbrush, real detailed kind of stuff. So he's working on that. And at the same time, when we're also looking at how astrology affects your physical body, my poor 3-year-old has got Uranus parked on top of her Mars sign right now and in the middle of the 8th house in Taurus. And this girl is struggling so bad with changing and becoming a big kid. She doesn't want to change and release all of these like little kid things, right? These little baby things or toddler things she needs to let go of. And whew, she's stubborn about this change with her Mars, her physical body in Taurus. And then Uranus is like shaking her up, but she is digging in her heels and going, no. And screaming and having massive tantrums and massive, like, she wants to stay in the comfort of what she knows.
Yeah.
Right? Her drive and ambition is to stay in comfort. Meanwhile, it's in Scorpio house, 8th house, and it needs to transform. And Uranus is going right now. She's going, no. But she's not doing it gently. She's doing it very intensely. So,
and she also had a rash.
yes,
I remember.
Yep, she's had some rashes. She's definitely having physical body symptoms or random like potty accidents and things with the physical body. And today she was out in our front yard. I'm so grateful we live in the country, and she just needed to release. And she sat on that ground. I brought her out there and her pajamas. She was screaming and so mad. And I was like, I got to put you outside. You're going to start the whole house on fire with your energy if we keep you in here. Right. So I safely brought her outside, and I didn't yell or anything. I just set her in the grass. I said, we need to be outside if you're going to scream like this. And she did. She screamed. And I was impressed by the throat chakra opening this girl was doing. I mean, think about Taurus rules the throat.
Yeah.
And this girl was, Helena, she was letting it out. Like, and it was very cathartic for me because I remember, I don't think it was a conscious thing until I was watching her. I remember being a 3-year-old needing to do this. I remember being a little kid needing to do this, but either not being allowed or, there was messages from
not
parents.
being able to.
Right. And this one, I just stood there and waited and watched and made sure she was safe. But man, my mama heart hurt so bad while she was experiencing that discombobulation of Mars and Uranus and Taurus in this 8th house. And I'm just literally watching the astrology happen in front of my eyes. And I knew my job was just to be here when she was done with that, electric episode.
Yeah.
So she pounded Mother Earth. She smashed that thing with her hands. She's kicking, she's stomping. And I thought, man, good for you. Like, yes, way to transmute that shit into the ground. And literally, she's sitting on her jammies on the on the grass in March in Wisconsin, screaming her full head off, and being able to do that, and nobody judged her for it. Nobody was telling her she couldn't. So we were using astrology we were using astrology this morning big time for health stuff and physical stuff and just understanding. And then I cried too because my moon is in my 12th house of healing. And I cried too because a little 3-year-old me was also doing that with her, right? Like there was a healing sadness and a healing happiness that was happening inside of me too. So it was like 8:30 in the morning too.
Wow.
Exhausted, and we didn't even start the day. Right?
Yeah.
Happy
I
Aries.
was thinking happy Aries, here we go. She was feeling that Aries energy. No, but I was thinking about skin, just what organ, because what organ talks to skin? Is it the liver?
Well, guts. Your gut health. It's
Okay.
usually digestive. If there's a skin issue,
Uh,
eczema or rashes,
yeah.
it's almost always gut health and or a detoxification issue. So yes, liver too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because then it's interesting. Then you can go into feelings, what feelings are paired with the liver. I
Hmm.
think it's
Anger.
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 Yeah,
I know that
it's
one well.
anger. I know that one too. It's stuck in my memory for some
Yep.
reason or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I find that really interesting when you go to a certain symptom and then you go into which organ is it, and then you go
Hmm.
what feeling is
Hmm.
actually associated with
Hmm.
that organ.
And
Interesting.
even thinking about where the rash started, right? It could have started anywhere, his foot or his whatever, right? But it started right
Hard.
on his like a little bit to the left, right on his heart.
Mhm.
And then it kind of spread in his heart chakra, lung area. And I was like, is this grief? Is this
Yeah,
sadness? Do you need to cry? Like what's going on
exactly.
emotionally here?
Exactly, because lungs are grief. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. So and it's
Why don't you
been
give him a little reflexology on his feet?
we do things like that for sure. We
Yeah.
do that, and we do that with essential oils. And I think it's a combo of things we got to kind of approach this from, right? It's not just one answer. It's
Mm,
Scorpio, and Saturn, so it feels complex, and it feels
mm.
very deep. Like we have to really go down sub level to find
Yep.
some of these deeper answers. So I don't know. We'll see. I've got a couple different functional medicine doctors and stuff on it, and a traditional Chinese medicine friend who's working with us. So I think we'll get at this. He actually was just exposed to the concept of a low histamine diet. And that's where we're working right now. So this is a really restrictive diet or nutrition plan, but basically it's to really minimize the over exaggeratory explosion of histamine in your body when you eat certain foods. So right now the body's
Oh.
off. And so if you eat like let's say you have leftovers that were in the fridge for 2 days, which if your gut health is fine, that's fine. But if you
Mm.
have a histamine response that's exaggerated, eating 2 day old food in the refrigerator and reheating it, there's a certain bacteria that grows or certain something that happens. And when your body doesn't have a certain enzyme to process something, or I haven't done a lot of research on this, so
Mm.
it causes a major overwhelm of a histamine response. So he's been on 4 or 5 days of low histamine diet, and it seems to be doing something. We don't know what yet, but he's definitely feeling some changes some way, somehow, just really lethargic, and like his body is really recognizing a shift is coming. So
Okay.
we'll
Yeah.
see. But oh God, there's so many things. We live in such a toxic world.
Yeah.
Such a toxic world.
It's like dodging stuff all the time. You need to, like, the other day, I'm in Kiruna now, which is the no did you know I'm in Kiruna? Yeah,
Yes. I
you
knew you
know.
were way up there.
Yeah. So I am super, super far up north. It's the most northern city in Sweden, and we are very close to the border of the northern border to both Finland and to Norway.
Okay.
I'm so far north. Anyway, we flew here a few days ago, and at the airport, I was already a little sickly from Neptune Sun
Yeah.
conjunction. Also, the Neptune Sun thing, why it makes me sick is because I don't slow down like I tell everyone else to do. I'm so bad at that, so I need to learn my lesson to slow down, and that's why it
God,
keeps
I feel
biting
that.
me in the bum. Yeah.
I feel that.
So yeah. Anyway, I'm at the airport thinking, okay, I need to get like something good to eat for breakfast. Like I need a fresh juice or something with a lot of ginger. So we see
Yeah.
this juice place and it says fresh juice and smoothies. I'm like, great. So I went up to them and actually even asked them, do you make fresh juices? Just to be sure. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And then we order our juices and then she just goes to the fridge and gives me a juice. I'm like, that's not fresh. If you take fruit and you make a juice,
Yeah.
you're supposed to drink it right after it's done.
Yes.
If it's just sitting there, it's still delicious, but it's losing nutrients by the minute.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually asked her, like, please, could you actually make me a fresh one? Because that's why I wanted to buy it. Like I already paid. So like that's why I came here because I didn't want a fresh juice. So she actually made one, which was really sweet of her. But and then my mom had a smoothie and she started reading the ingredients. She's like, powders. I mean, some powders can be good, but you just think, I just felt like you need to really read the labels.
Deception on labels
Yeah,
and deception in food companies and deception with what we are consuming, I think is what Uranus wants us to wake up to in Taurus
yeah,
as he treks through there. We
yeah,
have to wake up to the fact that just because it's for sale does not mean it's good. Just because it's labeled as a health food does not mean it's good for you.
exactly.
We found out this histamine diet is not really about quote unquote health foods. It's not about that. I mean, avocados are on the no list because avocados just trigger this kind of response inside of people.
Mm,
It's not a bad food,
it's
but
just not
if
good
you're
for him.
having exactly if you're having these kinds of specific responses, then avocados are a no.
Mm,
But it's a great food, right? So
yeah.
it's and now we've got avocados with this appeal. Have you heard of that now? APEEL. It's
No.
basic. Oh, you haven't heard this? Okay. So what's happening is I'm pretty sure it's Bill Gates is working with bioengineers to create a
Oh,
food coating that is basically it's basically a trans fat. So a trans fat is a fatty oil that has been chemically altered so that its hydrogen molecules, instead of going this way, are now altered and tipped on their side, and it's been transformed, and it makes it so that it's a shelf stable food. Now, I remember learning about trans fats way
what?
back in organic chemistry years ago, and they would put these trans fats into foods to make them last. So that's why Americans have massive obesity, because trans fats were in everything for years and years and years.
Are they putting this into fresh avocados so they
They're
last longer?
spraying a coating of
Oh,
this on them. They're basically, and apples too. And it's
I
been
do remember
quote
hearing this.
unquote
Yes.
approved by the organic industry in America, at least, to have this appeal be put on produce as a coating to protect it and keep it shelf stable longer. So they're making shelf stable produce, or at least longer shelf stable produce, but
Not supposed to be
it's
long
not
stable
being labeled
produce.
as it very clearly at all. And it's we don't have many studies on it that it's okay. So again, another situation where you think you're eating good because here's an apple, right? But it's coated in trans fats because they wanted this apple to last on the shelf for 6 weeks instead of 6 days, or 6 months instead of 6 weeks.
Mm.
This is the kind of crap we have to deal with. And in America, we get all kinds of other foods versus in Europe. You guys get like way better food than we do by the companies that make it. Like General Mills will make different versions of oatmeal for Europe versus America because
Hmm.
a lot of the chemicals are and preservatives and flavorings are still
Oh.
allowed in America, but they're not in over there. So it is like fighting a losing battle
Ah,
constantly.
yeah, we still have Uranus and Taurus, you guys,
I know.
still changing the food system.
For two
And
more
I mean,
years.
yeah, and change doesn't always mean good, doesn't may always mean bad. It just means change.
Yep. Yep.
So hopefully we get some good changes as well.
I hope so. I do
I
see
mean,
that too. I do see a lot more aquaponics things, like indoor. Like I've got my aquaponics tower garden going where people are growing a lot more things at home. I'm seeing a lot more home gardening happening. I'm
yeah,
seeing a
yeah,
lot
people are
more.
getting into gardening.
Yep.
Massively.
I'm seeing that big time too. So
Yeah,
where there's this energy, there's an equal and opposite
of
energy.
course. Holy moly.
Holy moly is right. I'm interested in Uranus. I think we should do a whole separate show on it because I'm very intrigued with the nervous system in general. I've been doing a lot of work on myself with my nervous system for well over a decade now. And I'm aware of where my nervous system is in my chart and the planets that affect it, Uranus. And I see you have, your Saturn is right on top of your
Yeah.
crazy nervous system planet. So you have to
How
be
do you read that?
very mature about the way you handle your stress.
Hmm.
But it's so intriguing to me, all of the various ways people can manifest stress or handle stress or calm down from stress, right? And reset their nervous system. And I've been doing this course, this personal development course, and last week's concept was all about nervous system reset. And so I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and stuff on this, and of course I have to add my astrology spin to it.
Of course,
So
the layer, yeah,
we
the magical
definitely
layer.
need to do a show on that because I think it's really important information.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, I have Uranus conjunct Saturn in my 12th house, and
Yeah.
I do feel like when my nervous system gets triggered, it's never very clear
Clear.
and
Mm-mm.
no, and like here it is, wow, and like a physical thing or like I can see it. It's always like a volcano, like it really comes from inside and slowly builds and all of a sudden I'm like my nervous system is just very like active and like stressed, but I'm also not acting it out in a very physical way.
Right. But
It's
you
all
need to,
happening.
but you don't. I can see why
I
you would need
don't.
to because it's in Sagittarius, but I can see why
Mm,
you don't because it's in Pisces, this 12th house ruled by Pisces.
yeah.
So, and I can see why Saturn would be like, you know, physically you would want to go out and do like shaking, right? There'd be like jumping
Mm,
or shaking or trampoline or running or something physically with that Sagittarius energy. But I could see why Saturn would be like, that's not mature. That's not
mm.
how we should handle our stress. This is stupid. I don't think this is a good idea. Right? I can see where you would literally stop yourself from doing the thing you know you need to do because
Mm.
you almost judge yourself with that Saturn right there.
Yeah, it's very much like I get almost like a freeze
Yeah.
when my nervous system is shot. I freeze, like I don't get frantic. I just like
Yeah.
get very still and like I am so stressed right now and I don't know what to do. And you know what happens when the first thing that goes is my memory and like my whole brain really
Yeah.
just fogs up. Like I become that 12th house. I just go whoop, see you later. Like I
Yeah.
just go into a different world.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely makes sense.
Mm,
And I can see how other people would not recognize on you that this
mm,
is stress or adrenal shutdown or adrenal fatigue or however you want to label it, right? Because it's just this slow like implosion before it's like when a star explodes, right? There's the first the inner and then the you're
yeah.
a star, Helena. Love it. How I'm curious because it's 12th house, I have to ask. I'm curious, how did your parents handle stress? Specifically your dad. How did he handle stress?
The same way.
Okay. There you go.
I think that that's also what I've been seeing. Like, no, maybe not from both, but yes, from him, a very like distancing
Yeah.
from the world. And that's exactly what I do. And when my partner is like, if I'm very stressed, because when I'm stressed, I start doing weird things and I forget things. And I'm not saying that I'm stressed because I'm not really realizing that I'm stressed
Right.
because it's all in the
It's
12th house.
all
And so
subconscious.
yeah, and then we get into a bit of an argument because I'm weird and my partner's like, what's going on? Why are you so like messy or putting things like forgetting everything? And then I'm like,
Deer in
and then
headlights.
yeah, I didn't headlights and then I get even more stressed and I just really get paralyzed. And then I'm in a position where I can't even try and explain
Yeah.
because I'm just
Well,
then I'm realizing at least that I am stressed.
it's interesting because this in your chart is opposite Venus, which is in
Mm,
Gemini.
yeah.
So your communication sign,
Yeah.
and you value being able to communicate. Like you really do
Mm,
value that. And you speak multiple languages and you have great communication until
yeah.
until you don't. And that's where the
Yeah.
opposition comes in. It's the ping pong game, right? So we now the energetic ball is over in the court in the 12th house, hidden from you, and in the subconscious realm or the spiritual realm or the energy around you, and you can't quite grasp it consciously, but that's where the energy is. But most of the time, it's probably hanging out over here in Venus and Gemini, in your daily house of routines, and you're just
Yeah.
communicating and going about your day, just doing your things, not recognizing the stress building up. And then
Yeah.
it's like Venus just flings the energy back to the other side and you shut down. That's
Yeah.
paralyzation. Yeah,
Mm.
it makes a lot of sense. This is why we got to go do a whole show on this, because we could dive into this
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, and there's so much, like I've never looked at my chart in this from this perspective really, and it just really helps always with astrology, just putting words, like how putting words on in an astrology way really becomes a tool to
For
help. Because
sure.
now I'm like, oh, okay, so that's where I need the balance.
For
So
sure.
maybe I need to, like, try and every day think about, how am I feeling today? I should tell my partner how I'm feeling. I mean, maybe that's not for everyone every day, like, hi partner, today I'm feeling like this, just so you know. But maybe for me that will be a
But
way to know how I'm feeling.
but that actually would work for your chart really well,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially if you really take time, because Venus, I love Venus because she's really those values. You
Mm.
value the communication, the clear communication, and on that daily, what's going on. It's like a daily check-in. And maybe
Yeah.
you don't have to do it with your partner. Maybe you could do it in a journal every morning, or maybe you
Exactly.
could,
Yeah, true.
right? It could be however you need to communicate it. But
Mm.
I love that, like, daily check-in for you. I think that would work really
Yeah,
well and
because
would
then I would
create
pick it up.
awareness around, hmm, I wonder if I am feeling a little bit stressed. I wonder if that is creeping in. Almost like a fog creeping in that you don't quite notice, right? If you're out
And
working
then all of a
outside,
sudden,
yeah, you're not paying attention. Let's say you're in the garden with your head down and you're not noticing this fog creeping in, and you stand up, you're like, oh, huh, where did this come from?
yeah, I can't see my feet. Exactly, that's how it is.
Yeah. So if you do more kind of conscious check-ins and make sure you make that a value that you do every day,
Yeah.
several times a day, maybe every time you
Mm.
go to the bathroom, you just do a mindfulness check-in
Mm.
about where your stress level is. And the
Yeah.
thing is, stress can change just like that. You're driving along, having a great day, and boom, a deer jumps out. Whoa. Right now you have this the surge in your body
Mm.
and the adrenal glands and the, all of it. So you have to do check-ins frequently,
Mm.
or especially for you personally. That's why I love the charts, because
Yeah.
for you personally, you do need to do maybe every few hours a stress check-in.
Yeah, exactly. And we can add that I also have my moon in the 12th house. So with my moon, my emotional side also sort of hidden, like I need
Yeah.
to actively dig that out and look at it. It's not there. I
No.
need to, like, you know, yeah, like dig it up and like blow away the dirt and, like, how are you feelings? Oh, okay. Like if I don't do that, I won't see them. I need to actively look at them. So
Yeah.
for me, yeah, that really, really makes sense.
It's so
Yeah.
interesting having your moon in the 12th house. And I think that's part of what
Mm.
this podcast is for us, is exploring that underlying concept of being able to understand our feelings. My brother and I were texting back and forth yesterday, and we get along pretty well. But I had said something from when we hung out the night before. I had texted him and said, hey, next time, maybe, let's not make it so late or something. And he was like, can you just let me know your feelings in the moment? And I said, actually, no, I, I really can't. And it's taken me a while to figure out that I can't. Like,
Mm.
if I do try to tell you my feelings in the moment, they won't actually be accurate.
Yes.
They won't be accurate. I actually need time to ride the wave, right? When we had Anna, our human design expert, on, she talks about this with this manifesting generator thing I have. She's like, you got to ride the up wave and the down wave and then come to a middle, so that you then know how you feel. You experience that high and that low and then figure it out. And I needed to sleep on it. I needed to rest. I needed to get my mind clear. I have 5 kids and a lot of energy bouncing around, and I didn't know how I felt in the moment. And this is why I
Mm.
needed to address the issue the next day. But he's
Yeah.
real fiery. He wanted to, let's do it right now.
Yeah. I
I
don't know my
can't.
feelings right now. Yeah. And it's interesting because I find that to know, like, it's the same for me. I don't really know the feeling. If I'm having an argument with someone, I will sort of the day after or
Yep.
sometime after be like, oh, start to
Oh,
process the feelings, or like actually feel what I was feeling. And I feel like if I've noticed that to feel my feelings in the moment, I need to go super slow. But my
Yes.
moon is in an earth sign. So I'm wondering with you, like, do you think that you could access your 12th house moon in a way that's airy because you have it in air sign?
Absolutely. If I can get out of the environment I'm in, that's number one. Because the air I feel like can get so tainted by other people's energy. So I have to get out of the environment I'm in, whether that's stepping outside, going for a walk, maybe heading to my bedroom and putting an oil on and taking a deep breath, eating a piece of chocolate in my hidden chocolate stash,
Mm.
and taking a moment away. And then ideally, I can either write something quick in a journal and get it out that way, or I can maybe have Philip come in, or Elliot's been a really good person for that too, my son, where I can just like throw my words at them and they can just like, bounce ideas. It's almost like when you're boxing with someone and
Mm.
they've got their gloves on and they're ready for the hit. They're like, yeah, go, I gotcha. That I
Yeah.
need somebody where I can throw all of my words slash feelings out at them, and then I can see which ones stick or which ones are real or which ones are where I'm
Yeah.
actually feeling.
I
Does
was
that
gonna
make
say
sense?
that yeah, that's because that's what I have experienced with my partner with a 12th house Gemini moon, just like you have, is that he he needs to talk a lot, say a lot of words
Yeah.
to get to the feeling. So
Yeah.
I was thinking that if you just need to start talking, like if someone asks you how are you feeling, you just need to open your mouth and like blah 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 blah, and maybe the first like 2 minutes it's
Yeah.
just words that need to come out, and then you start getting to the real
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah, you just
I
need to
I
get
usually
the talking going.
I usually say it's like pulling on a yarn, a thread, or a piece of yarn in the skein of yarn. Like you start pulling, and then all of a sudden, like you get the whole thing, and suddenly you have this big yarn pile. That's my feelings. My
Yeah.
husband has been a great person for that most of the time, if he's stable. If he's not stable, and I
Mm.
activate his Aries moon in the 12th house,
Mm.
now we
Hmm.
have a war going on, and now we
Yeah.
have a fight.
Mm.
But if he's stable, then my words don't trigger him. Then
Mm.
he's fine. But if he's feeling emotions and hasn't felt his, then I activate a fire in him, and then whoosh.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting having a relationship with someone with a 12th house moon while having a 12th house moon,
Yeah.
as we both do, and we have relationships with people who have 12th house moon, meaning that if you suddenly get into an argument out of nowhere,
Yes.
the stuff that comes out and how you're acting in that minute is not really the true
It's not
feelings or
accurate.
emotions from any of you.
No, no. And we went to a lot of years of therapy to learn this.
Mm.
But you know what actually helped us understand it more than anything?
Yeah.
Astrology.
No, what? Yeah, of
Astrology.
course, yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
we started marriage counseling, I think, before we were even married. Like it was just, we just knew we needed help learning how to fight better. That's actually what we went to
Yeah.
therapy for when I think we were 19 or 20, and he was in the Air Force. And we were like, this is not okay. Like we
Yeah.
have to figure this out. But we've been to marriage counseling multiple different times in our life, and it has always helped us when it
Mm.
comes to fighting better. And now we
Yeah.
almost never fight. And if we do, the other person goes, what else is going on? Something else. This is
Yeah, yeah. This
something
doesn't
else.
resonate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not the
That's not it.
actual issue. What
Hmm.
else is happening?
Yeah.
So it's been a nice journey of learning that. But yeah, it's interesting. You and I both have 12th house moons
Yeah.
and are with 12th house moon people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Intriguing.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm not really understanding why, but yeah, it is intriguing. But I'm like, why? Why? But why did
We
this
all
happen?
have, well, we all have mothering issues to heal. All of us, all four of us have
Mm.
mothering wounds to heal. And we all had our view of our mother, doesn't matter what sign or what anything, but our view of our mother is that she was somehow secretive or somehow didn't let her emotions out in the right way or a healthy way, or there is something with the way our moms manage their emotions that just didn't work well for us as far as what we needed. And that's what we came here to kind of heal for ourselves, all four of us. Isn't that fun?
Let's do it.
Yay, mom stuff.
Yeah.
Come and join the Cosmic Mama Collective so we can work on that shit.
Yeah.
Shameless plug. Oh, I love chatting with you today. So I think our biggest takeaway right now is that while the sun is out of Pisces, the rest of the planets are not. So
very true.
So we need to still be in that flow of compassion, understanding, nurturance, and artistry, healing, and make sure we're working hard on not checking out.
Yeah. And letting it take time.
That one right there. I don't like that one.
Yeah. But I'm feeling right now like this, I cannot actually move fast. Like everything is slow motion. And I feel like, moving in gooey clouds is just
moving in. Yes. Round of applause for that one.
Yeah.
Moving in gooey clouds.
Yeah.
1000% yes. I identify.
That's how it is.
Where do you even find gooey clouds? I don't know, but that's what we're in.
I don't know where they are. They're here right now. And I mean, we're going into eclipse season. We're also going into Mercury retrograde.
That's right.
Very soon, sort of at the same time. And that's just how it is this Aries season 2024. It's going to be a special one.
I like that. A special one.
Yeah.
It's been a special morning here so far.
Yeah.
I like that word special. You can use that a lot of places.
Yeah.
It's a good word. What's the word special in Swedish?
Speciell.
Oh, well, that's not that exciting. All right. I was looking for some really cool word, but
you wanted something cooler. Extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Oh, that's like extraordinary.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. But you got to see the Northern Lights the other day. I
did. And the night after as well. And that was like a religious experience, as close to a religious experience I've not the closest, but like a religious experience for sure. It was amazing what this planet can do.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it feels
and you
so
see them
connected.
Moving and like this.
Yeah, you feel so connected with the cosmic everything with the Northern Lights. Like that to me feels really cosmically connected.
Yes.
Those are some cool videos.
Yeah.
How long did you watch them for?
I think we were out maybe 15 minutes, something like that. They move pretty fast. And it looked like this giant green snake in the sky, just like.
And people, I'm assuming, go to this town to do this, to view Northern
Lights.
A lot of,
I think that there's a lot of tourism here for that reason and other cool reasons. Like they have a hotel completely made of ice here.
Okay.
And
yes.
And like they have like a really good skiing and those and just beautiful landscapes, but that is definitely one of them, the Northern Lights.
Okay, who do you think was the person that came up with the idea? What did their chart look like that came up with the idea of the hotel made of ice? What were their dominant placements? Why do you want to be in a hotel of ice?
Yeah, something Aquarian. Or like something, and like maybe 12th house in like Aquarius, and something in that, like make it strange but also make it hidden, and like Neptune, like something foggy you can't really see through but you sort of can.
Yeah, I'm always curious about these people. I'm like, who was the one who designed this and where are they? I would love to see their chart. I want to know what that looks like. That's fun. Oh, well, thanks for joining me today and doing a chit chat. I love doing chit chats with you. It's fun.
Yeah.
We like to just
I love it too.
Go off on random astrology topics.
Just talk astrology. And we really love you for listening. And we also love you that you share this with your friends and family, the ones that you think would benefit from listening to this. Because we love recording these bits. And if you can share it or just give us like 5 stars or do something on in the internet world that has like that. That's the internet currency. That's what we gain.
I love
That's the
that.
way we gain
That's the
internet
currency.
wealth or whatever.
The
That's the
currency.
currency. So now we give something, and then what you could do in the like to give back is to share it or subscribe or give 5 stars, something like that, and we would be really grateful for that exchange.
Yeah, or leave a review. Because there's that whole
Yeah,
algorithm thing,
that's it. Yeah,
the more people share and like and whatever, then it feeds the
yeah.
algorithm, which my brain doesn't grasp, but whatever.
Mm.
So yeah, we appreciate all of you guys and our listeners, and we're excited to bring you some more content here soon. So thank you for tuning in today, and we will be back next week. Take care.
Yes. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Ram and Goat Astrology. You can support the show by buying us a coffee or a tea. Link in the show notes. Your financial support means the world to us. Join us next time.